Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello everybody, welcome to our Leading Change, the Wednesday episode this week with Mher Nalbandyan. Hey Mher, welcome back.
Okay, hello. Thanks for again. I'm so happy to be here again.
Absolutely. So Mher, Wednesdays are change days here on the podcast, and as I like to call it, we need to be change leaders, not just change managers or be change actors, which we are, or change agents, but we also need to be change leaders. So we want to look at how can we become those change leaders. So tell us a story of a change process that you were involved with, and walk us through how that went. What was the process of that change? But also highlight for us the tools, the tips, the tricks, the techniques you learned back then that you still apply today.
Okay. Thanks for the question. So before going deeply into the answer of the question, let me please share my opinion related to the changes, happening in the team or in the organization level, what we are doing. I'm always saying that if you are a new Scrum Master in the team or in the organization, you don't need to go and immediately start to suggest doing the changes or changing the processes on which you used to work, as a good Scrum Master, you always should remember, this is my suggestion, that you should observe the process at least 1 month. It can be, let's say, 2 sprints, to understand how the process is working, on which part, in your opinion, can be improved. And after that, you can collect all them. I mean, you have like 10 points. Go to the team, first of all, or you think that this organization change, go to the organization and start discussing them one by one. Why I'm saying this? Because I used to face this problem, let's say, or the challenge during my previous experience. So I learned it, and so I'm suggesting to everyone to do it. So, and back into the main question, I cannot say that I participated in the changes where we fully have changed the process of organization. But I used to work, and now I'm working because I used to work, and now I'm working in the companies where the processes already is well set up, in the organization level. But of course, there were some aspects where there was a need to improve. So let me give some examples. So starting from the refinements, grooming sessions or backlog refinements, as many people know. As I mentioned previously, I have firstly learned to look at the process and then suggest doing the changes. In that team, which I'm giving the example, I noticed that the team in the company were not doing refinements in the right way. Other POs from, and especially that team's PO and other POs in the company are, always asking me, how could we have a good refinement session, with my suggestion, the teams working remotely, and especially that team also working remotely, we start using a tool, called Planning Poker. You can find it so easily. Just Google it, Planning Poker. It is so simple. You just need to create a simple game and share the link with the team. And previously, the team, and not only that team with are used to work, they are spending a lot of time for giving the estimation. What this means that they are sending the story points via Zoom chat, and then PO was looking on it and saying, okay, I don't know, A person give this one, B person give this one, and then we are starting this guy. But this tool or this kind of tools, let's say, giving a good overview for everyone to think that what A gives story point and B. Meantime, I noticed that some team members also do not so active during this kind of grooming session. And when they were started to work on already refined tasks, they were having a lot of questions. So me as a Scrum Master mentioned in our previous talk that we should have a one-on-one meetings with the team members. And this is a one-off action point that I'm taking with me. I'm observing, saying that for example, a person is not active in the grooming, and then he's giving a lot of questions. I'm going to him during the one-on-one and private talk and saying, hey, man, it's mean that something is not right here in the process. Let's understand how we can improve this. And I give this suggestion to other Scrum Masters because during our talks with Scrum meetings, they are raising this topic, Another change we did in another company is that we start doing a Scrum meetings, which I mentioned here. This is a good practice.
So tell us a little bit more about what was the problem that you were trying to solve when you started with the Scrum meetings.
So the problem is that in the organization, there are approximately 12 teams, and Scrum teams, and the teams has if they have a problem or dependencies, they don't have a platform where they can write. Okay, I can say again, there is a channel, but not always we are raising the topic in the right channel, and so this meeting, Scrum meeting, help us that Scrum Master come together twice a week. We are start to discuss the dependencies, the problems that our teams have from each other, and then after finding the solution suggestions, we are going back to our team and saying, hey, a team has this dependency from us, and we are asking peers, should we give a priority to this one to unblock the B team, and this kind of stuff, and it really helped. And I know, looking now and following them, I know that it has become the source meeting, one of the key meetings in that company. Let's say. Yeah.
For me, the key thing to highlight here is that change does not need to be like long distance or not long distance, but long term or big changes. As Scrum Masters, we need to be looking at all kinds of potential small changes that we could help the team with. And now we don't need to be the ones creating the change, but we have to be the ones helping the team create the change. Like, for example, you said this Scrum of Scrums meeting. This is a great example where the Scrum Masters need to come together and discuss, hey, have you seen this? Yes, I saw that. Okay, so your team also has this problem. How can we solve it? Come up with some ideas, propose it to the teams, and get the teams on board, right? Because sometimes we talk about change as if it is some kind of fuzzy big process, but it isn't. It's also the day-to-day things that we do with our teams.
Yeah, I totally right. That's why I'm saying that each Scrum Master, if you are new, there is no matter you are in the organization, new in the organization, and you notice that some place should be improved. There is no matter it's a small or big one. Just observe it, understand what's going there, then find the solution. Go to the management. If let's say if it's in organization level or it's team level, just go to the team during the retro. I don't know, and write this topic. I also have an example regarding to our daily format. I can say that I used to work in one team, where when I went there, I noticed that Scrum Master participating in the daily very, very, very often, But as we know, the daily is only for the developers, and pure Scrum Master have something to say, will participate there, and me as a Scrum Master, what I did, I start decrease my influence on the dailies. And then after that, I noticed that we have a improvement. I mean, the meeting become more effective and the people in the team start being more active, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a great example of a change we can do, right? Especially all the changes that impact us, our behavior, they're not necessarily easy to do, but they can be done very quickly because we only need to change ourselves. And that's actually often a topic we don't very much talk about here on the podcast, but it really is important to be aware of what we need to change in ourselves. Thank you for sharing that, Mher.
Thank you too for the question.
Leading change is one of the core skills we must acquire, but it is only one of the steps towards our success as Scrum Masters. Tomorrow, on Success Thursday, we will talk about how to define success for the Scrum Master role, we'll cover tips on how to measure your way to that position, and most importantly, how to develop that focus on continuous improvement that is as important for Scrum Masters as it is for teams. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.